You've been single for 2, 3, maybe 5 years. Not by chance, by invisible design. The reason most men stay single for years isn't bad luck, it isn't a lack of opportunity, it isn't because the right women no longer exist. It's because you're operating with the wrong manual. And every day that passes using the wrong manual is another day you build the prison where you yourself are the jailer. You wake up, work, train, take care of your things, consider yourself a decent man. And yet romantic interactions evaporate. Conversations die, women disappear, or put you in that gray area where you're good enough to vent to, but never good enough to desire. And you ask yourself why. The answer lies in the engineering of your own value. You don't know how to build it, communicate it, protect it. You are an engineer without a blueprint, an architect without a ruler, a builder trying to erect a magnetic structure using wet sand and good intentions. This ends now. You grew up hearing that all you need to be is a good man, honest, hardworking, reliable. Wait your turn, be kind, treat women with respect, put your heart on the table. One day, the right woman will appear and recognize all of it. A lie. Not a malicious lie, but a cruel simplification that left you unprepared for the reality of attraction dynamics. Being good, honest, and hardworking are prerequisites. They are the foundation. But a foundation alone doesn't attract anyone. Nobody enters a house just because it has a solid foundation. They enter because the facade is appealing, because the design is interesting, because there's something there that other properties don't have. Female attraction isn't a behavioral award. It's a complex psychological process that responds to signals of value, challenge, purpose, congruence, and calibrated scarcity. And you are sending the wrong signals. You are screaming infinite availability, absence of options, total flexibility. You are saying without words that any woman who chooses you is doing charity. And charity doesn't generate desire. It generates pity, or worse, invisibility. The truth no one told you is this: the less you value your own time, the less she values her presence in your life. The faster you adapt to her, the faster she loses interest in discovering who you really are. You're not single due to a lack of quality. You're single due to a lack of calibration. Let's open the manual that works. The tactical typology that separates men who spend years in a dry spell from those who build intentional and magnetic relationships. There are 7 patterns. Memorize, apply, observe the change. First, value calibration. You need to understand and communicate your value, not list it, demonstrate it. Value isn't declared, it's exuded. Concrete example, you're on a date. Instead of saying you're passionate about music, you casually mention that earlier today you were finishing a composition you've been working on for weeks and lost track of time. She sees passion. She sees purpose. She sees a man busy with something bigger than impressing her. That is calibration. You show without asking for validation. Second, principle of calibrated scarcity. Your time is finite. Your attention is valuable. If you respond to messages in seconds, if you're always available for any last-minute plan, if you cancel your commitments to fit her in, you are saying you have nothing better to do. Example, she texts at 2 p.m. You're focused on a work project. You respond at 5 p.m., naturally, because you were busy. No elaborate games. Just the consequence of having a full life. This creates a perception of value. She understands that being with you means gaining access to something scarce. Third, frame control. Maintain the direction of the interaction. This doesn't mean dominating or controlling her. It means leading. You suggest the restaurant. You propose the activity. You guide the conversation to interesting territories. Example, she asks what you're doing on Saturday. Weak answer, what do you want to do? Calibrated answer, I was thinking of taking you to that new Japanese spot. Then we could walk along the waterfront. What do you think? You lead. She feels secure. Women don't want to make all the decisions. They want a man who knows what he wants and where he's going. Fourth, boundary testing and response. She will test you. Always. Not out of malice, out of instinct. She needs to know if you are solid or if you crumble under pressure. Classic example. She's 30 minutes late without notice. You wait, say nothing, swallow it. She registers it. Next time, 40 minutes. Calibrated response. You calmly, without drama, communicate. Look, next time I'll wait a maximum of 15 minutes, then I'll move on with my day. My time is important. She might even react badly at the moment, but respect increases, and she doesn't test you anymore. Fifth, primary purpose. You have a mission that transcends any relationship, an ambitious professional project, a challenging physical goal, a cause that moves you. Example, you're training for a competition, or building a side business, or writing a book. This isn't accessory, it's central, and she perceives that she complements your life, but doesn't define your life. This is magnetic. Women want to be with men who are going somewhere, not with men who are waiting for someone to give meaning to their journey. Sixth, light disqualification. Small comments that subvert the expectation of constant validation, made lightly, with a smile, without cruelty. Example, she says something intelligent. You respond, "You're almost as smart as you are beautiful, impressive." This creates positive tension. She wants to prove herself more. Be careful. This is a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Use with intention and calibration, never to hurt. Seventh, mental abundance. The operational belief that there are many compatible women in the world. You're not desperate for this one. You're interested, but not dependent. Example, she doesn't respond to your last message for 2 days. You don't send 3 more messages chasing her. You go on with your life, talk to other people, invest in your purpose. If she comes back, great. If not, next one. This isn't coldness. It's self-preservation and emotional intelligence. These 7 patterns are the backbone of the man who builds intentional relationships. But knowing the technique isn't enough if you keep making mistakes in execution. Let's see where you're bleeding value without realizing it. John is 32, an IT analyst. He came out of a long relationship. He decided that now he would be different. He would be the present man, the good listener, the emotionally available guy. Every woman he met, he made sure to be attentive, always asked how her day was, always available to listen to her problems, always avoided expressing his own opinions or desires so as not to create conflict or spoil the mood. Result, he became the confidant, the friend, the guy they called when they were sad about another man. He spent 2 years accumulating frustrations, thinking he was doing everything right, without understanding why he never got out of the friend zone. Invisible cost, emotional exhaustion, a sense of invisibility. 2 years without a kiss, let alone a real relationship. Peter is 38, a civil engineer, successful, earns well, in shape. On paper, a great catch, but in relationships, he operated with one rule: never confront, never disagree, always keep the peace. When a woman was late, he waited. When she didn't respond to messages for days, he overlooked it. When she made plans without consulting him, he accepted it. He thought this was being understanding, mature, not controlling. What he didn't see, he was being disrespected, and she registered it. Result, he attracted women who saw him as a secure provider, a calm harbor, but never felt passion, never truly respected him. The relationships lasted a few months. They left. He was left alone, confused, thinking he did everything right. Cost, deep loneliness, a feeling of being used. 3 years of superficial relationships where he was the emotional plan. B. Mark is 29, an entrepreneur, full of energy for his projects. But in relationships, he expected things to flow on their own. He didn't take clear initiative, didn't ask women out directly, sent vague messages. He thought that if a woman was truly interested, she would make the effort. He should be courted. After all, he had value, right? Result, he lost opportunities with genuinely interested women who interpreted his passivity as disinterest and gave up. And those who stayed were those who only wanted superficial attention, quick compliments, momentary validation. Cost: 4 years meeting many women and building nothing solid with any of them. Growing frustration. Cynicism about relationships. Did you see yourself in any of these? Men? Probably yes, because these are the reactive errors that keep most men trapped in the cycle. Let's name your sabotages. Error 1, nice guy syndrome. You try to please at all costs. You seek external validation. You think that being helpful, always agreeing, never causing trouble will make her value you. Direct consequence. You lose respect. You lose attraction. You become the friend, or worse, the emotional doormat. She perceives your need for approval, and that is repellent. Nobody desires someone who begs for crumbs of attention. Error 2. Excessive passivity. You wait for her to take initiative, for her to suggest the date, for her to define the next steps. You put yourself in a reactive position, never proactive. Consequence. The interaction cools down. Without masculine leadership, without direction, she loses interest. Women may eventually take initiative, but they want to feel that you are in charge, that you know what you want. Passivity communicates insecurity and lack of purpose. Error 3. Emotional reactivity. She tests a boundary, makes an ambiguous comment, takes a long time to respond, and you explode. You send 3 consecutive messages chasing her. You become insecure. You react disproportionately. Consequence. You demonstrate a lack of emotional intelligence. You show that any small turbulence destabilizes you. This is off-putting. Women want solid men, not men who panic at the slightest sign of disinterest. Error 4. Lack of clear boundaries. You allow disrespectful behaviors. You accept last-minute cancellations. You tolerate a lack of reciprocity. You swallow small disrespects because you're afraid of losing her, afraid of seeming annoying, afraid of confrontation. Consequence. You are devalued, perceived as weak, and she tests you even more. Because without boundaries, there is no respect. And without respect, there is no sustainable attraction. Error 5. Pedestal. You idealize her, ignore obvious flaws, treat her as superior, always put her needs above yours. You think this is love. It's not. It's imbalance. Consequence. You create a dynamic where she is above and you are below. This kills attraction. Women don't want to be idolized. They want to be desired by an equal, not venerated by a subordinate. You're seeing the pattern. All these errors have the same root: a lack of calibration of your own value, fear of losing something you don't even have yet, operating from scarcity. Now let's turn the game around. The reconstruction protocol has 5 steps. These are not suggestions. These are engineering commands for your personal value. Execute, observe, adjust. Step 1. Define your purpose. Sit down, grab paper and a pen, list your primary values. What moves you? What is your life goal for the next 5 years? Don't romanticize. Be specific. Career, health, contribution. This purpose becomes the center of your identity. Everything revolves around it. Relationships complement. They don't define. Rationale. A man with a clear purpose exudes direction, and direction is magnetic. Women want to be alongside men who are building something greater than the relationship itself. Step 2. Establish non-negotiable boundaries. List 3 to 5 behaviors you will not accept in a relationship: disrespect for your time, lack of emotional reciprocity, constant mind games, inconsistent communication without justification. Whatever it is, write it down, memorize it, communicate it through your actions, not sermons. Rationale. Clear boundaries increase respect. Filter out incompatible women. Protect your energy. Men without boundaries attract women who test until they find the bottom. Men with boundaries attract women who respect structure. Step 3. Invest in continuous self-development. Every day, gym, career, hobbies, social skills, reading. You never stop building. You are always in a process of improvement. Rationale. This increases your intrinsic and extrinsic value. You become more interesting, more confident, more capable, and this is reflected in how you interact. You stop needing external validation because you know your worth. Step 4. Practice social abundance. Expand your circle. Meet new people, men and women, without ulterior motives. Just socialize, talk, connect. Rationale. This reduces your emotional dependence on a single person, improves your interaction skills, creates the perception that you have options. And when you have real options, you stop desperately clinging to any crumb of female attention. Step 5. Calibrate your availability. You are not always free. You have commitments, projects, workouts, friends, a rich life. You fit someone into your schedule. You don't restructure your schedule for someone you barely know. Rationale. Calibrated scarcity creates a perception of value. When you are always available, you communicate that nothing else is going on. When you have a full life, she needs to make an effort to be in it. An effort generates emotional investment. An emotional investment generates attraction. You now have the map, the blueprint, the ruler. But a map without execution is fantasy. And here is the hardest truth in this video. Tomorrow, you wake up. If you don't apply anything you heard here, tomorrow will be exactly like today. And a year from now, you'll be watching another video, looking for another answer, still single, still frustrated, still wondering what's wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with the system you're using. And bad systems don't improve on their own. They crystallize. Every day you operate with passivity, with a lack of boundaries, without a defined purpose. You reinforce the pattern. You train your brain to accept crumbs. You train the women around you to devalue you. And one day, you wake up at 40, look back, and realize you wasted an entire decade in a cycle you had the power to break. But you can choose differently. Now, today, tonight, you sit down and define your purpose. Tomorrow morning, you go to the gym or start that project you've been putting off for months. Tomorrow afternoon, you respond to that message without desperation, with the confidence of someone who has a life happening. Tomorrow night, you sleep knowing you took a step, however small, in the direction of the man you need to become. And the day after tomorrow, you take another step, and another, and in 3 months, you look back and don't recognize the passive, reactive, needy version you were. You want to regain control of your love life. You want to attract women who truly value you. You want to build something solid and intentional. So stop waiting to be chosen. Start becoming someone who deserves to choose. Stop trying to please. Start communicating value. Stop being afraid of losing what you don't have. Start protecting the structure you are building. Here's your challenge. Go to the comments now. Tell me about a situation where a lack of boundaries or purpose led to frustration in your love life. Be honest, no filters. And then tell me which of the 5 steps in the protocol seems most challenging for you to start applying immediately. This video changes nothing if you just watch it and close the tab. It only works if you decide that the version of you that exists 6 months from now will not be a hostage to the same sabotages that trap you today. The choice is binary. You apply and evolve, or you ignore and stagnate. There is no middle ground. There is no trying a little bit. Either you commit to total recalibration, or you accept that you will spend a few more years exactly where you are. And if you're thinking, this sounds like manipulation, this sounds like a game, I don't want to be that guy, let me tell you something. Understanding human psychology and communicating your value authentically is not manipulation, it's intelligence. You're not deceiving anyone. You're stopping yourself from self-sabotaging. You're building congruence between who you are and how you present yourself to the world. You're stopping being the guy who begs for attention and becoming the guy who offers an interesting life for someone to share. There's nothing unethical about that. What's unethical is continuing to pretend that you have no value, that you accept anything, that you are available to anyone at any time. That's a lie. And lies don't generate solid relationships. You have value. You always have. The problem was never the absence of value. It was the absence of communication of that value. It was the lack of protection of that value. It was the willingness to negotiate that value for crumbs of affection. That ends now. You will define your purpose. You will establish your boundaries. You will invest in yourself. You will expand your social circle. You will calibrate your availability. And in 6 months, you will look back at this moment and be grateful you made the decision not to accept another year of avoidable loneliness. Time is passing. Every second you postpone recalibration is a second you reinforce the old pattern. You don't need more information. You need execution. You don't need more motivation. You need discipline. Motivation is what brought you here. Discipline is what will get you out of the hole. And the first disciplined action you will take is to comment now. Share your experience. Publicly commit that you have identified the pattern and are ready to break it. This isn't about me. It's not about views or engagement. It's about you creating a public commitment, because public commitments have weight. They generate responsibility, and responsibility generates action. So go, pause the video, go down below, comment, and then go back to your life with the certainty that you won't be the same man 3 months from now. You will be the calibrated, purposeful, respected version. The version that attracts instead of begs. The version that chooses instead of waiting to be chosen. That version already exists within you. It was just waiting for the right manual. Now you have the manual. Use it.